Alright guys, so welcome to video number 3 of our Onshape tutorial, the basics to Onshape. Right. So I figured out that the best way for us to get to know the software is to actually make some little desk tidy over here, right? So your pencils and pens can go in there, your other bits and bobs can go in here, and down here is a little area for your phone to sit on, right? In landscape or portrait format. So you can watch videos while studying or whatever. Cool. It's small enough, and it got your name here too. Right. It's small enough that we can 3D print these. We can 3D print up to 2 of these at a time on each printer. So I suggest you get this done. Work with me. Get this done together. And once we get back into school, you can print this out. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and start making it. I'm going to break this up into a few videos. Today's video, we're just going to focus on the base and this cut, and then we'll slowly advance from there. Right. By the end, we'll also have a drawing that we can work off. So we're going to refer to this drawing, refer back and forth when we work this model. Okay. So we're back on our Onshape homepage. As you can see, you've got your Onshape tutorials folder here. So I'm going to click that. It's going to take me to my, well, yours should be empty. Mine's already got the tidy that I've done before. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. I'm going to call that phone holder desk tidy. Now mine's a version 2, so _2, because I've already done one before. Right, go ahead, hit enter. Let's talk about how to actually make something on Onshape, right? Onshape is a parametric 3D modeling software, right? Which means we got to set parameters and then model it. It's not a free modeling software like, say, 3D Max or Maya. Every 3D object starts off as a 2D sketch, and just like in real life, we have to start sketching on a flat surface. Currently, we are in space. There are no flat surfaces in real life over here, but we are given 3 planes to sketch on, right? We got our top, front, and right planes. Okay, and we got our origin here. What you guys are used to is your X and your Y axis, right? X and Y axes on your Cartesian plane, right? When you're working in 3D, you've got your Z axis, which operates 90 degrees to your X and Y axes. Okay, so we're working in 3 dimensions right now. Okay, it's going to be a little difficult for some of you to get your head around, but guys, once you do, it's going to be so easy. All right, so we're going to start off by making the base. Like I said, let's look at the base. It's essentially a rectangle with a bit cut off over here. That's 140 by 95. Okay, it's 140 mil wide, 95 mil deep, and 20 mil tall. Remember, 2D sketch first, so we're going to draw a box that's 140 by 95. Let's get that started. So I'm going to start drawing on the top plane and work up from that top plane. I'm going to hide the front, and I'm going to hide the right plane, and only have the top plane there. Now, how do we sketch something? See the sketch button over here. All right, go ahead and click that. Now when you click it, you'll notice that everything else goes kind of is washed out. You can't select them, and it says select a sketch plane over here, which means we need to select a plane to draw on, right? We are going to select this top plane first, right? So click that, click top plane, and you'll see it populates that dialog box, and all of these are now accessible again. Here we go. Now I told you about good practice. This is my first big tip for you, right? Right click on the space somewhere and go down to view normal to sketch plane, and there we go. Okay, we're looking directly down on the plane that we're sketching on. So we need to start off with a rectangle. Okay. Today we are only going to look at this rectangle feature. Right, now by default it's on corner rectangle. We are going to go to center point rectangle. So you'd notice that if you hover your mouse over these buttons, gonna tell you what it really does. So this, it says center point rectangle R, create rectangle, blah blah blah. You can read. Okay, read it. We want the center point rectangle because we want to base our rectangle around this origin. That's why we didn't hide the origin. Okay. Second tip, good practice. You have to anchor your sketches around the origin. Most of all the first sketch, because then your object is locked in space. Get the cursor near that origin and you'll notice that it'll go yellow, and then when you're on it there'll be a little sort of a rectangle around it, which means now if you draw, that center is going to be locked on the origin. So click and release, and then move the mouse and click again, and there's your rectangle. Now if you accidentally click somewhere else, you're going to make more boxes. If you do that, don't freak out. Just go to this left arrow here on the top left, follow the mouse, left, click, click, it undoes what you've done. Okay, that's because Onshape, once you let go of the function, is still locked onto this. Right? To get out of it, all you have to do is hit escape, and then you're back to your normal mouse cursor. So we go. Okay, so now we've got a rectangle, but it's not this rectangle. This rectangle is 140 by 95. Our rectangle is something random. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is define this rectangle. We're going to do that by using this feature over here, the dimension feature. You can see two arrows with two lines across it. So if you hover over it, it'll tell you what it does. There we go. Right, so click it. Onshape has a sticky right click. Okay, so you click and let go and it'll hold it down for you. So don't try to click and drag. So we're going to dimension the long side first. Click, drag it up, and it'll convert it to a text box, and we want it to be 140 mil. 140, enter. Because we haven't clicked escape yet, we are still in the dimension tool. If you've accidentally gone out of it, just click the dimension tool again. So the short one, and we want that to be 95, 95, enter. There we go. Alright, now you notice that our lines are no longer blue, they're black, which means they are defined. These things cannot be moved. To prove it, hit escape and try and move those lines. They won't move anywhere. Right, so that's why we've centered it around the origin, and we've defined the sizes. Okay, go ahead and click on the green arrow now, and your sketch 1 is done. You can rotate it. You can see that sketch 1 is on the top plane. Now the exciting part, we're going to make something in 3D, because you can do this in Microsoft Paint. Right, now we're going to 3Dify it. So we need to look back at our drawing and see this. It's 20 millimeters tall. Right, so we got to do that now. So currently it is no millimeters tall because it's a 2D object. So right next to the sketch on the top left here, you'll see extrude. So all of these things, these are features, right? These are all features. You can manipulate your 2D sketch to follow most of these things, right? But what we are interested in is extrude. So I'm going to go click extrude, right? And you'll notice this is extrude 1. You notice sketch 1, extrude 1. Next extrude is going to be called extrude 2. One after that, you guessed it, extrude 3. Right, it's going to just continue like that. But you can also, if you want to, rename your thing. Right, so extrude 1, same, we've got our tick, cross, solid, surface, new, add, remove, intersect. We are interested in solids, and new, add, and remove. These 4 functions are what we are going to be focusing on for this project, right? You got blind, depth. I'll tell you that when we use them, which is in about 5 seconds. Right, so we got faces over here. So we've drawn the sketch, faces and sketch regions to extrude. Click that, click the sketch, and there we go. It's gone ahead and extruded it. Extrude means pull, right? We're pulling that sketch and turning that 2D sketch into 3D. But you can see it says blind, and the depth is 25. Now, what's our depth? Our depth is 20. Right? We need to change that to 20. hit enter. Now you can hit enter, it's not going to go out of the sketch. Right? If you do accidentally leave the sketch, go back to that, double click it, and it'll pop up again. Do not freak out. And we wanted to go to blind because we are going up in one direction. If you want to flip the direction, you can click this arrow over here, but we are working on top of the top plane, not below the top plane. Got symmetric. If you do symmetric, it'll go in both directions, and the rest we can't use them yet because we have nothing to follow. Right, so blind 20 mil going up from the top plane and click. Done. That's our base. Okay, next thing we need to do is make this cut. So this cut has a depth of 10 millimeters, right, and a width of 12, and it's 10 mil behind the front face, right? Let's go and do that here. So we are going to essentially draw that on this side and cut it. So what do we start off with usually? We start off with a sketch. Right, now sketch plane. Well, we can't use a plane now, can we? Because if we use the top plane, we can't cut in that direction. So what we're going to do is, remember, we can sketch on any flat surface. So we're going to select this side, which is the right side, and you'll see it'll say face of extrude 1, and there we go. And that sketch 2 plane has kind of planted itself on that face. So remember, good practice, right click, view normal to sketch, zooming in a bit, and we're going to pick the corner rectangle this time. Okay, not the center point, and you'll see why. So I want to base that corner rectangle along this edge. You can do it anywhere along this edge because we are going to define it with dimensions after we've drawn it. And click, release, and click, there you go. I've gone ahead and drawn a random rectangle. Okay, so go ahead and hit escape, dimension. Let's go with the depth first. So that's the depth one. Click, release, out, 10, 1, 0, enter. Width, click, release, down, 1, 2, enter. Now this is going to be tricky because we can't really select this edge, but we can select this edge. So I'm going to click and ignore that 10. And I'm going to go till it highlights this edge, and there we go. All right. Not 12, it's 10 in it. Enter. There we go. Okay. Now you can see that escape to get rid of the dimension tool. You can see that that is fully defined because it's got black lines around it. It's not blue anymore. Right. Once you're happy with that, guys, just again cross check. Face, right side, good. We're in the correct thing. Tick. You can always go back to that sketch by double clicking the sketch. Right, and green. And now we're going to cut it. Okay, same feature. We're going to use the extrude function. Solid. New, add or remove. Remember, we are cutting, so we are going to remove. Okay, click remove. Faces and sketch regions to extrude. Now you have to go ahead and click this. Okay, the new sketch. So if you've accidentally clicked both of these, go ahead and delete these selections and click the correct one. There we go. You can see that it's done a cut at 25 mil deep. That is the program's default depth of extrusions. Here's a fun thing to do. You can grab this arrow and pull it all the way across. There you go. Done. One way to do it. Okay? Bring it back down. Next way to define the width. You can type in 140 and hit enter because that's our width. That's another way to do it. But the easiest way to do this, guys, is to go down on the drop down menu on blind and select through all, and it'll cut all of it. Okay, then go ahead and click the green arrow, and well done. You made a base for a desk tidy. Well, actually what you've actually done is just made a phone stand, which is pretty impressive. Good job, guys. I think we'll leave this for today for this video, and we'll come back next video and we'll do the rest of it. Right, so next lesson we're going to make this cutout. Alright, Alright guys, take it easy, stay safe, see you later.